Welcome to the International EPA course, Ins and Outs of Intrustable Professional Activities, prepared and are delivered by an international team. This is Clip 13, Faculty Development for EPA-based education. Arising from this session, we hope that you will appreciate the central importance of faculty development, particularly in the context of EPAs and EPA-based assessment. We will explore the needs of diverse groups of stakeholders and review some potential strategies. The main activity you will have when we meet is to design a strategy for faculty development for a defined target audience. The critical importance of faculty development is widely recognised as central to effective implementation of EPAs and to changes in assessment practices. The large number of people involved means that we need to develop comprehensive and inclusive strategies to support implementation of EPAs. Because faculty play such a critical role in assessment through direct observation, we must attend to their professional development in this domain. Firstly, before addressing the specific context of EPAs, let us consider some key ideas about faculty development in general. There are many conceptions of faculty development, or otherwise termed continuing professional development. These range from a deficit model which suggests that faculty need to be developed, to approaches that involve engagement with faculty as essential partners in the change process. Effective faculty development involves developing a shared mental model of key concepts, practices, and expectations. The importance of developing a shared mental model is evident for a number of reasons. EPAs require wider use of direct observation in authentic clinical settings, where coaching and feedback are essential elements. Self-assessment is an essential skill for learners and practitioners in the health professions, and faculty development promotes the development of these skills and qualities. Reflection underpins discernment and entrustment decision-making. Arguably, the most sustainable form of faculty development involves building a community of practice. This is described by Wenger as a group of people who share a common concern or a passion for something they do and learn how to do as they interact regularly. This conception of faculty development highlights the need for a continuous, dynamic, and enabling process. In an era of curriculum innovation, such as EPAs, we should aim to empower faculty. We should raise their awareness of their value as teachers and actively involve them in the debate. This is a more effective way of increasing their engagement in resident training. Faculty need to be empowered to use their professional judgment, especially when operationalizing the concept of entrustment. Traditionally, we have a vision of faculty development as events that bring people together in a room for face-to-face engagement. But recent events have highlighted that we also need to consider alternative approaches that harness other methodologies, such as use of remote independent learning, new communications technologies, and digital resources. Fundamentally, faculty development is about supporting the management of change. You are now aware of the extent of the change required to the design of the curriculum and the use of assessment when we adopt EPAs. Implementing EPAs involves significant change in practice at a number of levels. More challenging, however, is the cultural change required. Well-established relationships within the workplace involve powerful conceptions of the respective roles of supervisors and trainees. A more trainee-led approach in an EPA-based system requires a significant change in mindset. It involves giving agency to trainees so that they are proactive about looking for feedback and gathering evidence of achievement of EPAs. To bring about change, we need to consider what needs to be put in place to support entrustment decision making, both for formative and higher stakes summative entrustment. This is the cornerstone of an EPA-based system. When determining what faculty development is required, it makes sense to consider the stage of the process of rolling out EPAs. Competency-based education and work-based assessment may be entirely new concepts to your institution, or you may find yourself in an institution where these have been in place for some time, but EPAs are a new framework. Alternatively, you may be in an institution committed to implementing EPAs and are already on the path to piloting or implementation. Inevitably, the needs of faculty will vary with stages on the journey, and you will need to adapt your strategy accordingly. The term faculty development may suggest a relatively narrow focus for one particular group, but faculty development or continuing professional development actually applies to a wide range of potential participants. Leaders such as deans, program directors and administrators are all essential to the process of EPA implementation. On the front line, we have champions, teachers, supervisors, observers and assessors. There will be particular roles to be fulfilled in an EPA-based system, such as on a competency committee, for which specific training will be required. And a critical group will be trainees, residents or students. Local leaders need to be able to provide a sound and compelling rationale for the changes required. They need to be able to inspire changes in behaviour in others and to facilitate the acquisition of new skills. EPA champions also need to be trained and enabled to fulfil their role. Frontline faculty have a key role in teaching and assessing trainees. They do not all have to understand EPAs in depth, but they need to be able to conduct work-based assessment. They need to be able to observe effectively, give feedback, use the entrustment supervision scale, and understand what the levels mean. They do not need to know how to write an EPA, but they do need to appreciate how they were derived. Students, residents or trainees need to have sufficient understanding of EPAs to serve as important drivers of change. They need to know from the start what they will be assessed on and be prepared to take a proactive role in seeking feedback on their practice. Administrative personnel are extremely important in pulling together all the assessment data that is collected from work-based assessment. They need to know how to use the IT system and to generate EPA trend charts, graphs, and e-portfolio details that your clinical competence committee will need. There are many strategies which you can deploy. You will need a blend, adopting those most suited to the stage of implementation and the target audience. Promotional and explanatory materials are valuable for keeping people informed and explaining the rationale for EPAs. They can be in written or digital format or even use social media. Face-to-face opportunities, such as lectures and seminars, have an important role to play. Workshops offer opportunities to engage participants more actively and are more likely to bring about development of new skills and changes in practice. Online learning can be used to supplement these methods. Accessible digital resources represent an invaluable tool for providing just-in-time guidance. Where availability, distance or other restrictions are an issue, these resources are even more important for remote learning. Hands-on demonstrations, coaching and mentoring are powerful methodologies where credible peers or EPA champions can support changes in practice. One essential topic is the rationale for EPAs and competency-based education and training. While this seems obvious, Its importance can be underestimated by educationalists and other enthusiasts who are persuaded of their merits. Others will need to be convinced to be engaged. The skills involved in EPA development are required by those who are engaged in that process. This is specialist work. These skills are not required by all faculty. Assessment practice is an important focus for faculty development, as frontline faculty will need to engage most directly in terms of observation, feedback, and entrustment decision-making. All participants need to understand how to use the technology, how to use the assessment app, and how to complete and interpret portfolios. We provide a number of international case studies on faculty development to illustrate diverse approaches and to demonstrate the use of digital resources. You can view these in a separate presentation with hyperlinks to websites where resources are stored. You should take the opportunity to browse these sites before attempting the activity for this unit. Colleagues from Queen's University in Canada have described a systems-based approach to implementing EPAs across a range of specialties. Faculty development was a key component of the approach. The development of local champions and a clear communication strategy were central to effective implementation. These strategies are mirrored in many international case studies. It is possible to identify some take-home messages from various case studies in the implementation of EPAs. Implementing competency-based education is a major change management process. It requires effective, ongoing support for those responsible for effecting change in their practice. It needs to combine support from credible peers, accessible resources, and flexible learning opportunities. Faculty development should respond to changing needs over stages of implementation. It obviously needs to be resourced, and clinical leadership and institutional commitment are key to effecting change. There are a number of avenues for resourcing faculty development from within and out with the institution. Specialist societies, training bodies, and ministries all have a stake in supporting the change. You may have partners internationally with whom you can collaborate and share the cost of faculty development, including the design of digital resources. When planning for faculty development, there are a number of considerations. Firstly, you need to decide on your target group and be clear on your goals. The choice of topic needs to meet the needs of your audience. You should be clear about what your participants will do and achieve. You need to decide on the format, for example, face-to-face or online, and the group size. A well-managed faculty development activity is well-resourced with appropriate handouts and worksheets and appropriate facilities. It pays to flip the classroom and provide materials, readings or digital resources in advance. Evaluation is an essential part of a longer-term strategy to learn what works. Follow-up activities such as convening meetings or establishing networks are ways to ensure sustainability of impact. When evaluating faculty development, we aim to gain reactions, seek evidence of learning, look for changes in behaviour, and ultimately determine to what extent the changes were as a result of our interventions. Evidence from evaluation should inform future strategies. It also offers funders evidence of value for the investment in faculty development in times of limited resources. In summary, prepare for your transition to an EPA-based curriculum and work-based assessment. Identify key persons and determine what type of faculty development they need. Combine different models of delivery and develop digital resources. Map out a schedule of engaging activities over time. Evaluate, review, and respond accordingly. And a final thought to leave you with. References for this section are as indicated here. And we, the faculty development team, look forward to meeting you on the course. Thank you.